Well, I have a powerful message for you tonight. And I hope that you came hungry, thirsty, and ready to receive this powerful message. And it is life-changing, life-saving, and you're going to be glad you stick around. You stuck around if you stick around to hear it and receive it. Right here, the verse of the day is John 14:21. He who possesses my commands and guards them, it is he who loves me. And he who loves me shall be loved by my Father, and I shall love him and manifest myself to him. Now, we're going to get the context, and like I said, I hope that you turn your ears on and open your eyes and receive this mighty message. Verse 1, let not your heart be troubled. Believe in the mighty Most High. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many staying places. And if not, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I shall come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, you might be too. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. Thomas said to him, Master, we do not know where you are going, and how are we able to know the way? Now, who is Thomas? Thomas is Doubting Thomas, and he's the twin. Now, why would Messiah say, and where I go, you know, and the way you know? Hold that thought. And notice how the doubting twin said, we do not know where you are going and how we are able to know the way. How are we able to know the way? Yahushua said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through me. If you had known me, you would have known my Father too. From now on, you know him and have seen. Philip said to him, Master, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. And I'm just going to let you in on a little spoiler. He's wanting to say, he's asking the Messiah to show him the Father, right? If you get this message, you'll be someone that would never ask that question, because you will have seen him. Mark my words. Philip said to him, Master, show us the Father, and it is enough for us. Yahushua said to him, have I been with you so long, and you have not known me, Philip? He who has seen me has seen the Father, and how do you say, show us the Father? Do you not believe that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me? The words that I speak to you, I do not speak from myself, but the Father who stays in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father, and the Father in me. Otherwise, believe me because of the works themselves. Truly, truly, I say to you, he who believes in me, the works that I do, he shall do also. And greater works than these he shall do, because I go to my Father. And all these things are going to make perfect sense to you if you stick around. And whatever you ask in my name, that I shall do, in order that the Father might be esteemed in the Son. If you ask whatever in my name, I shall do it. If you love me, you shall guard my commands. And I shall ask the Father, and he shall give you another helper to stay with you forever, the Spirit of the truth, whom the world is unable to receive, because it does not see him or know him. But you know him, for he stays with you and shall be in you. I shall not leave you orphans. I am coming to you. Yet a little while, and the world no longer sees me, but you shall see me, because I live, and you shall live. In that day you shall know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. And that day, just what I was just saying, if you stick around, you would never ask that question. That verse 20 right there, that statement by the Messiah is going to make perfect sense to you, and you're going to be glad you stuck around. He who possesses my commands and guards them, it is he who loves me. And he who loves me shall be loved by my Father, and I shall love him and manifest myself to him. Yehuda, not the one from Kirjath, said to him, Master, what has come about that you are about to manifest yourself to us and not to the world? Yahusha answered him, If anyone loves me, he shall guard my word, and my Father shall love him, and we shall come to him and make our stay with him. He who does not love me does not guard my words, and the word which you hear is not mine, but of the Father who sent me. These words I have spoken to you while still with you. But the Helper, the set-apart Spirit, whom the Father shall send in my name, he shall teach you all, and remind you of all that I said to you. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. You heard that I said to you, I am going away, and I am coming to you. If you did love me, you would have rejoiced that I said, I am going to the Father. For my Father is greater than I. And now I have told you before it takes place, that when it does take place, you shall believe. I shall no longer talk much with you, for the ruler of this world is coming, and he possesses none at all in me. But in order for the world to know that I love the Father, and that as the Father commanded me, so I am doing. Rise up, let us go from here. Now, because of all the 14 stuff that we're seeing, and there's a lot of stuff that I haven't even relayed on here, but I mean, you know that there was 14 generations. Was it from Abraham to David? I can't remember how that goes, but it ends up 4 times 3 is 42. I think it was 14 from Adam to Abraham, maybe, or from Noah to Abraham, and then Abraham to David, and then David to Messiah, right? There was 14 generations. All the stuff that you see that we've been seeing, that's 14, and the 42 stuff is coming out. And usually when you see that in the news, the 42, that means something big is about to happen. Last night, I saw that, or was it this morning? One of the other. I saw a news article that said Russia launched 42 drones. And last time they did that, I showed the article right on here. It wasn't like not very long after that, big things was happening. And so, and like you seen the speech that I showed you in the last video, the 14 points and everything, it's littered with 14. They make sure to show you that movie Leave the World Behind has 141 minutes. They say it multiple times in all those articles. They make sure to tell you that. There's a lot of stuff in there. And Marfugel, when I was talking about him last night, when he wouldn't shut up, he still ain't shut up about that movie, and a lot of people haven't. He said that they keep showing you 76 in that movie. Well, 76, 7 times 6 is 42. But being how that's the case, I went to 14 mark, and you should know, if you've been here for a while, what we learned the last time in 14. Wait till you see what I got to show you this time. Verse 1, now the Passah and the festival of Matzah was after 2 days. And the chief priest and the scribes were seeking how to take him through treachery and put him to death. And they said, not at the festival, lest there shall be an uproar of the people. And while he was in Beth Anya, in the house of Simon the leper, and sitting at the table, a woman having an alabaster flask of pure perfume, genuine nard, very costly, and breaking the flask, she poured it on his head. But there were some who were much displeased among themselves, and said, "Why was this perfume wasted? For it could have been sold for more than 300 denarii and given to the poor." And they were scolding her. Now keep 300 and put a pin in that. Keep that in mind. Hold that thought. The 300. It's significant. But Yahusha said, "Leave her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a good work for me. For you have the poor with you always, and you are able to do good to them whenever you wish. But you do not always have me." What she had, she used. She took it beforehand to anoint my body for the burial. Truly I say to you, wherever this good news is proclaimed in all the world, what this woman did shall also be spoken of to her remembrance. And Yehuda from Kirioth, one of the 12, went to the chief priest to deliver him up. Keep that in mind. It makes sure to let you know which Judah it's talking about here. The one that delivered him up. And he was one of the 12. And when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him silver. And he was seeking how to deliver him up conveniently. They promised to give him silver. Keep all this in mind. And on the first day of unleavened bread, when they were slaughtering the Passah lamb, his taught one said to him, "Where do you wish us to go and prepare for you to eat the Passah, the Passover?" And he sent out 2 of his taught ones and said to them, "Go into the city, and there a man bearing a jar of water shall meet you. Follow him. And wherever he enters, say to the master of the house, 'The teacher says, where is the guest room in which I am to eat the Passah with my taught ones? And he shall show you a large upper room furnished, ready. Prepare for us there.' And his taught ones went out and came into the city and found it as he said to them, and they prepared the Passah. And evening having come, he came with the 12. Evening having come. And as they sat and ate, Yahusha said, 'Truly I say to you, one of you who is eating with me shall deliver me up.' And they began to be grieved and say to him one by one, 'Is it I?' And another, 'Is it I?' And he answering said to them, 'It is one of the 12, he who is dipping with me in the dish.' Keep that in mind. The son of Adam is indeed going, as it has been written of him. But woe to that man whom the son of Adam is delivered up. It would have been good for that man if he had not been born." And as they were eating, Yahusha took bread, having blessed, broke it, gave it to them, and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." The word is his body. And taking the cup, giving thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank from it. They all drank from the cup. And he said to them, "This is my blood, that of the renewed covenant, which is shed for many. Truly I say to you, I shall certainly no more drink of the fruit of the vine till that day when I drink it anew in the reign of the Most High." And having sung a song, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Remember that. And Yahusha said to them, "All of you shall stumble in me this night. For it has been written, I shall strike the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. But after I am raised, I shall go before you to Galilee. After I am raised, I shall go to you to Galilee." Galilee, it translates to rolling hills or hilly, referred to the hilly region in Israel. Another translation is cylinder or circle. And it's also The word Galil is also used, it's what the IDF calls one of their weapons, a bang bang weapon, if you know what I mean. They use it as a weapon. Keep that in mind. So after, he said, but after I am raised, I shall go before you to Galil, to the circle, the cylinder. And Kepha said to him, even if all shall stumble, yet not I. And Yahusha said to him, truly I say to you that today, this night, before the cock shall crow twice, you shall deny me 3 times. 3 times. But he spoke more strongly. If I have to die with you, I shall not deny you. And they all said the same. And they came to a place called Gethsemane. And he said to his taught ones, sit here while I pray. They came to a place called Gethsemane. Must I take that? Yeah, I think it's right here. Okay. Gethsemane. That word means oil press, to press out the oil. It's the place that they press the oil. They came to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his taught ones, sit here while I pray. And he took with him Kepha and Jacob and John. And remember, Kepha's name means stone, and Jacob and John are known as the sons of thunder. He took them 3 with him, and he began to be greatly amazed and to be deeply distressed. Remember what I told you the word distressed means when we're reading the scriptures. It's talking about the night. It's talking about the shadow of death. And he said to them, my being is exceedingly grieved, even to death. Stay here and watch. Stay here and watch. And he went on a little and fell on the ground and was praying that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, Abba, Father, all is possible for you. Make this cup pass from me. Yet not what I desire, but what you desire. This is so huge right here. Okay. What did he just say? He just asked the Father, Abba, if it were possible, take this cup from me. And you know what cup he's talking about, right? He was talking about being killed. He asked, if it's possible. And who is Messiah? He's the firstborn. He's the beloved Son, who the Most High loves. The firstborn of all creation, right? Even him, he asked the Father, if it possible, take this cup from me. Yet not what I desire, but what you desire. And he came and found them sleeping, and said to Kepha, Simon, are you sleeping? You were not able to watch 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter into trial. The spirit indeed is eager, but the flesh is weak. What did he mean by that? He said, watch and pray, lest you enter into trial. The spirit indeed is eager, but the flesh is weak. So what's he saying? He's saying that Peter should have been awake and watching, right? And all he had to do it was for 1 hour. How many hours are in a day? 24, right? 12 in the day, 12 at night. So they were at the 23rd hour. All he wanted them to do was stay awake and watch for 1 hour. And that was the flesh. That's why he said, but the flesh is weak. So he's telling Peter that you can say you're going to do something and say that you're going to stay awake and watch, but did you actually do it? Did you actually do what I told you? You didn't just say, yeah, I'm awake, and then be sleeping and act like just because you said you were awake in the spirit, you weren't. You didn't stay awake. And again, he went away and prayed and spoke the same words. He went back again and he said, Abba, if it all possible, take this cup from me. Make it pass. You can agree with me that That's what he did, right? That he went and asked Abba, our Father, twice to take the cup from him, if it were possible. What happened? What was it possible? Don't you think that if it were possible that the Most High would have taken the cup from him, right? It wasn't possible, was it? Keep that in mind. And having returned, he found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy, and they did not know what to answer him. When he came, their eyes were heavy, and they didn't know what to answer him. And he came the third time and said to them, the third time, 300 denarius they could have sold the perfume for. The third time he came. Are you still sleeping and resting? It is enough. The hour has come. See, the son of Adam is being delivered up into the hands of the sinners. Listen, the son of Adam is being delivered up into the hands of the sinners. Who is the Messiah? He's the Word. The Word was being delivered up into the hands of the sinners. And you're going to see how this is so massive, my friends. Please don't touch that dial. Stay clocked in, because this message I have for you tonight, Abba willing, that I can convey it. It's everything. Rise up, let us go. See, he who is delivering me up has drawn near. And immediately, while he was still speaking, Yehuda, Judah, one of the 12, with a large crowd with swords and clubs, came from the chief priest and the scribes and the elders. And the one who was delivering him up had given them a signal, saying, whomever I kiss, it is he. Seize him and lead him away safely. And going straight up to him, he said to him, Rabbi, Rabbi, and kissed him. All this is huge. Every word is massive. And they laid their hands on him and seized him. They seized the word, the way, the truth, and the life. And one of those standing by drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. Cut off his ear. And Yahusha answering and said to them, have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs to take me? As against a robber. Daily I was with you in the set apart place, teaching, and you did not seize me. But let the scriptures be filled. And they all left him and fled. They all left him and fled. And a certain young man was following him, having a linen cloth thrown around his naked body. And when they seized him, he left the linen cloth and fled from them naked. Fled from them naked. And they led Yahusha away to the high priest, and all the chief priests and the elders and the scribes came together to him. And Kepha followed him at a distance, even into the courtyard of the high priest. And he was sitting with the officers and warming himself at the fire. And the chief priest and all the council were seeking witness against Yahusha to put him to death, and they were finding none. They were finding none. For many bore false witness against him, but their evidences did not agree. What was their witness against him? But it was blasphemy, right? But their evidences didn't agree. And some rose up and bore false witness against him, saying, we heard him saying, I shall destroy the dwelling place that is made with hands, and within 3 days I shall build another made without hands. And not even then did their witness agree. Well, didn't he say that? How did their witness not agree Didn't Messiah say that? He did say that, right? So how is it that their witness don't agree? If they're saying that, he did say that. You're going to find out. You're going to see. Then the high priest stood up in the center and asked Yahusha, saying, have you no answer to make? What do these witness against you? But he remained silent and gave no answer. And again the high priest asked him, saying to him, are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed? And Yahusha said, I am. And you shall see the Son of Adam sitting at the right hand of the power, and coming with the clouds of the heaven. And tearing his garments, the high priest said, what further need do we have of witnesses? He tore Yahusha's garments. You have heard the blasphemy. What do you think? And they all condemned him to be liable to death. And some began to spit on him, and to blindfold him, and to beat him, and to say to him, prophesy. And the officers struck him with the palms of their hands. Why did they want him to prophesy? They wanted him to shut up, right? Why did they want him to prophesy? And notice, it says, and the officers struck him with what? With the palms of their hands. And as Kepha was below in the courtyard, one of the servant girls of the high priest came. And seeing Kepha warming himself, she looked at him and said, are you with Yahusha of Nazareth? Oops. Of Nazareth. Nazareth, a shoot or a sprout. And this here says, perhaps a corruption of Sea of Galilee. A watchtower. Nazareth, the word from the watchtower. The branch that sprouts out. Notice it says Isaiah 42. Let's go see what that says. We'll come right back here to Mark 14. In that day, the branch of Yahuwah shall be splendid and esteemed, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for the escaped ones of Yasharal. Let's get the context. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we shall eat our own food and wear our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. Does that sound feasible to you? Can 7 women marry one man and say, we're going to eat our own clothes? And I know that's what everyone's always said. I've said it too, that's what that means. What would it mean if those women are daughters of Zion? Their denominations, their religions, like their Pentecostal, Baptist, Southern Baptist. If we're talking about those kind of women, if they say they shall take hold of one man, saying, we shall eat our own food and wear our own clothes. The bread is the body, the word, the way, the truth, and the life. And the clothes is the righteousness. Does that sound familiar? That 7 women that day would take hold of one man, and they eat their own food, they wear their own clothes. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. That sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? Sounds like Christianity, doesn't it? In that day, the branch of Yahuwah shall be splendid and esteemed. The branch. And the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for the escaped ones of Yasharal. And it shall be that he who is left in Sion and he who remains in Jerusalem is called set apart. Everyone who is written among the living in Yasharal. When Yahuwah has washed away the filth of the daughters of Sion. He's not just talking about women. He's not going to wash away in that day just the women's filth because the men are so righteous. He's talking about religion. He's talking about the sects and denominations, that kind of stuff. Rinse away the blood of Yerushalayim from her midst by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. Then Yahuwah shall create above every dwelling place of Mount Sion and above her gatherings a cloud and smoke by day and a shining of flame fire by night. For over all the esteem shall be a covering and a booth for shade in the daytime from the heat, for a place of refuge and for a shelter from storm and rain. The eye of the storm. Now let's go back here. Where was I? Right here. Are you with Yahusha from Nazareth, from the branch? But he denied it, saying, I do not know nor understand what you are saying. And he went out onto the porch, and a cock crowed. Onto the porch of the house. He went out of the house, the rock, went out of the house and said, I don't know him. I don't know the truth, the way, and the life. But the sinners took hold of the word. And the servant girl saw him again and began to say to those who stood by, this is one of them. And again he was denying it. And after a little while, those who stood by again said to Kepha, truly you are one of them, for you are a Galilean. Two, and your speech is alike. And he began to curse and swear, I do not know this man of whom you speak. And a second time the cock crowed, and Kepha remembered the word that Yahusha said to him, before the cock crows twice, you shall deny my name 3 times. And thinking on it, he wept. And immediately in the morning, the chief priest had a council meeting with the elders and scribes and all the council. Having bound Yahusha, they led him away and delivered him to Pilate. And Pilate asked him, are you the sovereign of the Yahudim? And he answering said to him, you say it. You say I'm the sovereign of the Yahudim. And the chief priest accused him of much, but he made no answer. And Pilate asked him again, saying, have you no answer? See how much these witness against you? But Yahusha still gave no answer, so that Pilate marveled. Where else do we see that word marvel? When it's talking about the image of the beast, right? And at a festival, he released to them one prisoner, whomever they were asking. And there was one called Barnabas, chained with his fellow rebels, who had committed murder in the uprising. And the crowd, crying aloud, began to ask, as he had always done for them. But Pilate answered them, saying, do you wish me to release for you the sovereign of the Yahudim? And the Yahudim didn't want him, right? For he knew that the chief priest had handed him over because of envy. Remember, keep all this stuff in mind. When I get to the climax of this, you'll remember all these things, and we'll go back and look at them again so you can see why all these words were said and why we're reading them. And you're going to know why it is we're understanding them the way we are today. And the chief priest stirred up the crowd that he should rather release Barabbas to them. Barnabas, right? Barabbas. son of the Father, or son of the Master. His name means son of the Father or son of the Master. What did it just say in the word that he was? A robber, right? He's a robber whose name means son of the Father, son of the Master, right? Oops. Oh, how'd that happen? That's how that happened. So, they demanded Barnabas, the robber, the son of the Father, the son of his name means son of the Father. He was a robber. And Pilate answered again and said to them, "What then do you wish me to do to him whom you call the sovereign of the Yahudim? And they cried out, "Impale him, impale him." He wanted him dead, right? They wanted, the Yahudim wanted him dead. Who else wanted him dead? Judas, Yehuda, right? One of the 12 for silver, right? And Pilate said to them, "Why? What evil has he done?" And they vehemently cried out, "Impale him." And Pilate, wishing to satisfy the crowd, released Barabbas to them. And having whipped him, he delivered Yahusha over to be impaled. And the soldiers led him away into the court, which is the palace. And they called together the entire company of soldiers. The entire company of soldiers? Are you telling me they didn't leave no soldiers out on duty, like out in the town or nothing, nowhere to stay posted where they were? So all the forces came in, and I mean, don't you think some chaos would have ensued? That they wouldn't have just took in all the soldiers? The soldiers to impale him, and decked him with purple, and they plaited a crown of thorns, put it on him, and they began to call out to him, "Greetings, sovereign of the Yahudim." Greetings. They're just meeting him. And they kept beating him on the head with a reed. Why with the reed? Why couldn't they have beat him with a club or with a branch or whatever? Why with a reed? And were spitting on him. And bending the knee, they were bowing down to him. And when they had mocked him, they took the purple off him and put his own garments on him and led him out to impale him. And they compelled a passerby, Simon, a Syrian, Simon, a rock, coming from a field, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to bear his stake. And they brought him to the place Golgotha, which is translated place of the skull, like Castle Grayskull, you know. They brought, the word was taken by the sinners, and they traded him for a son of the Father, but a robber who had a crown of thorns on his head. They bowed their knee to him. They impaled the word. They killed the word. But out from there came a son of the Father who was a robber. And they took him to the place of the skull where the dead body is. And they were given him wine mixed with myrrh to drink, but he did not take it. And when they impaled him, they divided his garments, casting lots for them what each one should take. His garments were righteousness. his garments. And they were casting lots. Why do you think they casted lots for his garments? And it was the third hour, and they impaled him. And the inscription of his accusation was written above: the sovereign of the Yahudim. The dead word, who they traded for a robber with a crown of thorns, and they claim that he's the sovereign of the Yahudim. And with him they impaled two robbers, one on his right and one on the other, on his left. And the scripture was filled, which says, and he was reckoned with the lawless. With the lawless. If you've been around for a while, you should know that I've shown to you in the scripture who the man of lawlessness is. He's the anti-Messiah. He's the one who the world has been sold is the Messiah. But he's not the Messiah found in the Word. He's not the Word. He's that wine mixed with myrrh. He's that one with the crown of thorns on his head. He's Barnabas, the son of the master, but he's a robber. And those passing by were blaspheming him, shaking their heads and saying, "Ah, you who destroy the dwelling place and build it in 3 days. Save yourself and come down from your stake." And likewise the chief priests and the scribes, mocking to one another, said, "He saved others. He is unable to save himself. The Messiah, the sovereign of Yasharal, come down now from the stake so that we see and believe." And those who were impaled with him were reproaching him. They said, "Come down from the stake so that we see and believe." You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like, come down in the sky on the clouds so that we see and believe. Show us something so that we see and believe. But I just read all back through there where he said, "I will come to you. I will make myself manifest to you. And you will know that day that I am in the Father in me, and we are in you. And we shall come and dwell with you, make a stay with you. Where I am going, you can come too." And there was no getting out of it. He had to do it, right? And when the 6th hour came, darkness came over all the land until the 9th hour. The 9th hour. And at the 9th hour, Yahusha cried out with a loud voice, saying, "Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," which is translated, my mighty one, why have you forsaken me?" And some of those standing by, when they heard it, said, "See, he is calling for Elijah." Don't forget that. They said he's calling for Elijah. And someone ran and filled a sponge with sour wine and put it on a reed, and offered it to him to drink, saying, "Leave him. Let us see if Elijah does come to take him down." Leave him. Did you hear what I just read? And someone ran and filled a sponge with sour wine and put it on a reed and offered it to him to drink, saying, "Leave him. Leave him. Leave the word, the way, the truth, and the life. Let us see if Elijah really will come to take him down." And Yahusha cried out with a loud voice and breathed his last. Don't forget that. His last. And the veil of the dwelling place was torn in two from top to bottom. The veil of the dwelling place. And when the captain, who was standing opposite him, saw that he cried out like this and breathed his last, he said, truly this man was the Son of the Most High. And there were also women watching from a distance, among whom was also Miriam from Magdala. Miriam from Magdala. Magdala means tower, the tower of the fishes, tower of strength. A central place in strong tower was a central place in ancient cities where people could run to when facing danger and then find safety and protection. She traveled with him, witnessed him being put up on the stake, impaled, and was one of the first people to learn of his resurrection. Don't forget that. One of the first people who learned that he was risen, that he was alive. And also was Miriam, the mother of Jacob, the less, and of Joseph and Shalom, who also followed him and attended him when he was in Galilee. Where let's see, what was Galilee? The circle. Following him to the circle. They followed him when he was in Galilee, and many other women who came up with him to Jerusalem. And when evening had come, because it was the preparation day, the prep day, that is the day before Sabbath, Shabbat, our rest, the day before our rest, Joseph of Ramathaim, a prominent council member who was himself waiting for the reign of the Most High, came boldly went into Pilate and asked for the body of Yahusha. So this Joseph of Ramathaim, he too was waiting on the reign of the Most High. Ramathaim. Ramathaim, watchers of the heights, double watchtowers, double height of watchers, overcomers of the heights, high, exalted, and interestingly, of thunder. Joseph came to take his dead body from the place of the skull. This man from the two double watchtowers of thunder came. From Shiloh, it was 24 kilometers. He came to take his dead body and put it in the tomb. But Pilate wondered whether he was already dead. Wanted to make sure he was dead. So summoning the captain, he asked him if he was already dead. And when he learned this from the captain, he gave the body to Joseph. Who is the Messiah? Who are we talking about here? The Word. The Word was released as long as those who killed him and mocked him, put the crown of thorns on him and everything, thought he was dead, right? And he, having bought fine linen on the Word, wrapped righteousness around the Word, and took him down and wrapped him in the linen. And he laid him in a tomb which had been hewn out of the rock. Hewn out of the rock. and rolled a stone against the entrance of the tomb. And Miriam from Magdala, from the tower of the fishes, and Miriam, the mother of Joseph, saw where he was laid. And when the Shabbat, the Sabbath, was past, Miriam from Magdala and Miriam, the mother of Jacob and Shalom, bought spices to go and anoint him. And very early on, day 1 of the week, they came to the tomb when the sun had risen. When the sun had risen. And they said among themselves, who shall roll away the stone from the entrance of the tomb for us? Who shall roll away the stone from the entrance of the tomb for us? And looking up, they saw that the stone had been rolled away, for it was extremely large. And having entered into the tomb, they saw a young man sitting on the right. On the right. Why on the right? He couldn't have been on the left or anywhere else? On the right, wearing a white robe, and they were greatly astonished. And he said to them, do not be much astonished. You seek Yahusha of Nazareth, of the circle, right? Or I mean of the branch, who was impaled. He was raised. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. See the place where they laid him. And go, say to his taught ones and Kepha, the rock, that he is going before you into Galilee. You shall see him there, as he said to you. What was Galilee again? Let's look one more time. Galilee. The circle. He said he's going to the circle. Before you. Before you. You shall see him there, as he said to you. And they went out and fled from the tomb and were trembling and bewildered. And they spoke to no one, for they were afraid. Why were they afraid? Why? And having risen early on the first day of the week, he appeared first to Miriam from Magdala, from whom he had cast out 7 demons. Demons. What are demons? What are demons? A demon. A deity, from Greek, daemon, deity, genius, evil spirit, diminutive, I can't say that word, but diminutive, an evil spirit, where the word demonstrate comes from, a protest. What did he, the word removed this evil spirit, this deity who protested against the truth, the way, the life, the word, right? A public expression of objection, disapproval, or dissent towards an idea or action, typically a political one. So now I want you to think about this. He cast out of Mary from Magdala, from the tower of the fishes, the strong tower of the fishes, where the fish were, 7 demons, 7. And we just read in Isaiah, 7 women shall take a hold of one man in that day and say, we'll eat our own food. We'll dress ourselves. Just let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. But later on in that same chapter, the Most High said that he will cleanse the women of the blood of Yerushalayim in that day, right? She went and reported to those who had been with him, mourning and weeping. Why was she mourning and weeping? The demons are gone from her. If she was sad that he died, why is she mourning and weeping now after she done talked to him? She seen that he was risen. She knew that he was alive. Why did she go on mourning and weeping? What does mourning and weeping, what is them two words associated with throughout the scripture? The same as lamentation, lamenting, our comely home, our dwelling place, where Messiah went, where he went and he told his taught ones that you must pick up your stake and follow me. He asked the Most High if he could get out of doing that 3 different times. And he said, if it's at all possible, take this cup from me. Was it possible? It evidently wasn't possible, was it? He had to go, didn't he? And he went. When they heard that he was alive and had been seen by her, she seen him, they did not believe. The one who 7 demons had been cast out of, the tower of the fishes, of the fish. Messiah said, come with me, I'll make you fishers of men. The tower of the fish, who had 7 demons cast out of her, said to his followers, who he done told he was going to rise from the dead, they did not believe. And after this, he appeared in another form to 2 of them as they walked and went into a field. And when I tell you all these words are 1,000,000,000%, they're all the way necessary. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And they went and reported it to the rest, but they did not believe them either. Later, he appeared to the 11 as they sat at the table. Who was the one who delivered him up? Who the Messiah said it'd be better if he wasn't born, and he did it for silver, conveniently, to the other Judas, the other Yahudim, who traded him for the son of the master who was a robber, the son of the father who was a robber. He wasn't there. And he reproached their unbelief and hardness of heart because they did not believe those who had seen him after he was raised. And he said to them, go into all the world. And this is how he reproached them. Go into all the world and proclaim the good news to every creature. He who has believed and has been immersed shall be saved. But he who has not believed shall be condemned. He who has believed, what's belief? It's faith, right? Right? What's immersion mean? See, this is what has come from the son of the father, quote unquote, the robber, though. This is what's come from that lie. That they don't tell you, they haven't never told us what it really means to be immersed, baptized. What's the water? The water's the truth, the way and the life. Those who have been born of the truth, been born again of the truth, into the truth, now they walk in the spirit of the truth. The Messiah said, unless I go all the way to Jerusalem and give up my life for this, doing the desire of my Father, the spirit of the truth can't come to you. He can't come to you. How is that? Is it like the robber has taught us that when he died, now this being comes to us and now he just walks around invisibly behind us and like and he just taps on us and makes us shiver and shake and speak in different tongues and stuff? Is that what it is? You're going to see. But he who has not believed shall be condemned, and these signs shall accompany the ones who believe. In my name they shall cast out demons. Demons. We just seen what demons is. It's deities. It's those who protest the truth, the way, and the life, the word. They cast out demons. They shall speak with renewed tongues. Renewed tongues. So if babbling, like the way these Christians do it, speak in tongues, if that was speaking in tongues, did they once talk like that before and now they're doing it again? All words are always necessary. He said renewed for a reason. It's the same reason he says, John said that he saw the renewed Jerusalem coming down. They speak. How will you know who is accompanying? These signs shall accompany the believers, the ones who believe. In my name, in the truth, not in Hail Zeus, not even in the name Yahusha, in the word, in the truth, in the way, and the life. They cast out those deities who protest against all that, the truth, and they speak with renewed tongues. But they shall take up snakes, and if they drink any deadly drink, it shall by no means hurt them. If they read some word that's got a bunch of bullshit in it, it's not going to hurt them. They've been born into the truth now. They walk in the Ruach HaKodesh, the spirit of truth. They demand the truth. They shall lay hands on the sick and they shall get well. What is their hands? Why did the Messiah have the holes in his hands? Yeah, it was because he was on the stake. What's your hand represent? It's what you do. He was pierced through what he did. What he did was in the scripture. But what's the world believe? They believe in the robber. The one with and they put a crown of thorns on the truth's head. The thorns and the thistles and the bushes, so you can't see in to the truth. They pierced what he did with his hands. Those who speak in renewed tongues and who cast out all those protestant deities, the lies, what they do can heal the sick, and they shall get well. Then indeed, after the master had spoken to them, he was received up into the heaven and sat down at the right hand of the mighty Most High. And they went out and proclaimed it everywhere while the master worked with them and confirmed the word through the accompanying signs. Yes, sir. Now, when I was reading this today, I was listening at the same time to a prior video I had made, and in that video I was reading from Malachi 4, and I heard this verse 5 where it says, "See, I am sending you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and awesome day of Yahuwah." And we just read, you seen how the people who were mocking him, they tried to give him wine mixed with vinegar, wine mixed, diluted. What's the wine? It's his blood. It's who is he? The lamb. What did they do in Egypt? They ate all the lamb. They put the blood on the doorpost. That's the key of David to get in the door. So the angel of death passed over. They tried to give him diluted way, the way diluted, right? And they said, "Have Elijah come and take you down, from the place of where you're dead, from the place of the skull. Have him do it. And the Most High said, see, I am sending you Elijah the prophet before the coming and the great and awesome day. Now let's get the context, baby, all the way. There's only 4 chapters in this, and you're going to want it. Trust me. The message of the word of Yahuwah to Yasharal by Malachi. I have loved you, said Yahuwah, but you asked, in what way have you loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Declares Yahuwah, and I love Jacob. But I have hated Esau, and have laid waste his mountains and his inheritance for the jackals of the wilderness. Why did he hate Esau? Because he traded that land of his inheritance for a bowl of oatmeal, right? For nothing. And if you notice, wherever it's talking about the whore, a lot of times it speaks of a place of jackals, porcupines, and ostriches in the wilderness. And if Edom says, we have seen, or we have been beaten down, let us return and build the ruins. Yahuwah of hosts said thus, let them build, but I tear down, and they shall be called border of wrongness. And the people against whom Yahuwah is enraged forever. And your eyes shall see, and you shall say, great is Yahuwah beyond the border of Yasharal. A son esteems his father, and a servant his master. And if I am the father, where is my esteem? And if I am a master, where is my fear? So what's he saying? He's saying, if you're a son, you are esteeming the Most High, and you fear him. That's what he's saying. Said Yahuwah of hosts, to you priests who despise my name. But you asked, in what way have we despised your name? You are presenting defiled food on my slaughter place. Defiled food. Just like that defiled wine. But you asked, in what way have we defiled you? Because you say, the table of Yahuwah is despicable. The table. Remember, when they were coming out of Egypt, they said, after they done seen all the wonders, they seen him part the sea, they seen the fire at night and the cloud, they seen all that. They seen him split the rock and the water gushed out. Everything. The manna came down from the heaven. They said, is Yahuwah able to prepare a table for us in the wilderness? What is the table? It's where the bread is. The food, that's where the wine sits. In Jerusalem, the Passover. And they said, these people who despised his name and put defiled food on the slaughter place, they said the table of Yahuwah is despicable. And when you present the blind as a slaughtering, is it not evil? And when you present the lame and sick, is it not evil? Bring it then to your governor. Would he be pleased with you? Would he accept you favorably? Said Yahuwah of hosts. That is so huge right there. You need to understand what he's saying. And we're going to come back to that. And now, entreat the face of the mighty Most High to show favor to us. This has been done by your hands. Would he show favor to you? Said Yahuwah of hosts. Done by your hands. Who among you who would shut the doors so that you would not kindle fire on my slaughter place for nothing? For nothing. I have no pleasure in you, said Yahuwah of hosts. Nor do I accept an offering from your hands, what you do. If you do that, the slaughtering, what's the slaughter he wants? Of thanksgiving. That's what he wants. Well, if you're doing what he just said, who among you who would shut the doors so that you would not kindle fire on my slaughter place for nothing? I have no pleasure in you, said Yahuwah of hosts, nor do I accept an offering from your hands. For from the rising of the sun, even to its going down, my name is great among nations. And in every place incense is presented to my name, and a clean offering for my name is great among nations, said Yahuwah of hosts. But you are profaning me, in that you say, the table of Yahuwah is defiled, and its fruit, its food is despicable. So, do you understand what he just said? He's saying all kinds of people burn incense to my name, and they know my name is great among the nations. You do that, yeah. That's what you do. You sure do. But you just seen the slaughtering. He has no pleasure in it. But you are profaning me in that you say, the table of Yahuwah is defiled, and its fruit, its food is despicable. The truth and what you do with it, what your hands will do with that truth. It's despicable, they're saying. And you said, oh, what weariness. And you sneered at it, said Yahuwah of hosts. And you brought in plunder, castle plunder, plunder, and the lame and the sick. Thus you have brought in the offering. Should I accept this from your hand? Said Yahuwah. But cursed be the deceiver who has a male in his flock and makes a vow, but is slaughtering to Yahuwah what is blemished. For I am a great sovereign, said Yahuwah of hosts, and my name is feared among nations. What's he talking about there? But cursed is the deceiver who has a male in his flock. What's the male in his flock? What's he talking about? Like I've been telling you, all words are all necessary. In the Passover, he said, take a male from your flock, one without blemish. The word, the lamb, the way, the truth, and the life. Be cursed, but cursed be the deceiver who has a male in his flock and makes a vow, but is slaughtering to Yahuwah what is blemished. Barnabas, the robber. And now, O priest, this command is for you. If you do not hear, and if you do not take it to heart, to give esteem to my name, said Yahuwah of hosts, I shall send a curse upon you, and I shall curse your blessings. And indeed, I have cursed them, because you do not take it to heart. Yes, give esteem, all esteem to the Most High in his name. But if you're giving esteem out your mouth, but not with your hands and your feet, are you? That's why he said, indeed, I have cursed them. See, I shall rebuke your seed and scatter dung before your faces, the dung of your festivals, and you shall be taken away with it, of your festivals, and you shall be taken away with it. And you shall know that I have sent this command to you, as being my covenant with Levi, said Yahuwah of hosts. This command is the covenant with Levi. My covenant with him was life and peace, and I gave them to him to fear. And he feared me and stood in awe of my name. The Torah of truth was in his mouth, and unrighteousness was not found on his lips. He walked with me in peace and straightness, and turned many away from crookedness. For the lips of a priest should guard knowledge, and they seek the Torah from his mouth, for he is the messenger of Yahuwah of hosts. But you have turned from the way. You have caused many to stumble in the Torah. Stumble. You have corrupted the covenant of Levi, said Yahuwah of hosts. And I shall make you despised and low before all the people, because you are not guarding my ways and are showing partiality in the Torah. If you go and look at the commandment about the Passover, the Passah, he's perfectly clear. He says, Do not eat the Passover unless you are in the place I have placed my name, in Jerusalem. If you do that, you're showing partiality. Have we not all one Father? Did not one mighty one create us? Why do we act treacherously against one another to profane the covenant of our fathers? The covenant. He gave us life and peace in our land. With treachery, the treacherous betray. Treachery. Yehuda has acted treacherously. He did. Judas, the Yahudim, they did, didn't they? And an abomination has been done in Yasharal and in Jerusalem. For Yehuda has profaned what is set apart to Yahuwah, which he had loved, and has married the daughter of a foreign mighty one. Married the daughter of a foreign mighty one. Let Yahuwah cut off from the tents of Jacob the man who does this, stirring up or answering and bringing an offering to Yahuwah of hosts. Anyone bringing anyone who does that, don't matter what you're bringing, he's going to be cut. You're going to be cut off. And this you have done a second time. A second time. You cover the slaughter place of Yahuwah with tears, with weeping and crying, because he no longer regards the offering, nor receives it with pleasure from your hands. Who's crying? He is. It's a shame when you bring that to the slaughter place. He doesn't receive it. And you said, why? Because Yahuwah has been witness between you and the wife of your youth, against whom you have acted treacherously, though she is your companion and the wife of your covenant. This isn't literal. He's not talking about a man and a wife. He just told us he's talking about Jerusalem, he said. And you said, why? Why is this? Let's read this 13 again. And this you have done a second time. You cover the slaughter place of Yahuwah with tears, with weeping and crying, because he no longer regards the offering, nor receives it with pleasure from your hands. Anything you do. And you said, why? Because Yahuwah has been witness between you and the wife of your youth. He knows who the wife of your youth is, against whom you have acted treacherously, though she is your companion and the wife of your covenant. And did he not make one? Bingo. Right there. There should be no misunderstandings. It should be perfectly understood that there is two, but actually there's only one. That's why he said, and did he not make one? And he had the remnant of the Spirit. And what is the one alone? He seeks a seed of the Most High. So you shall guard your spirit, and let none act treacherously against the wife of his youth. None. For I hate divorce, said Yahuwah, the mighty Most High of Yasharal. And the one who covers his garment with cruelty, said Yahuwah of hosts. So you shall guard your spirit and do not act treacherously. You have wearied Yahuwah with your words, and you have said, in what way have we wearied him? In that you say, everyone who does evil is good in the eyes of Yahuwah, and he is delighting in them. Or where is the Most High of right ruling? Right ruling. See, I am sending my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. Then suddenly the master you are seeking comes to his call, even the messenger of the covenant, in whom you delight. See, he is coming, said Yahuwah of hosts. And who is able to bear the day of his coming? Who is he? He's the messenger of the covenant. Of the covenant. Who is able to bear the day of his coming? He came. They couldn't bear it then. He's here now, making himself manifest now. Who is he? The messenger of the covenant. And who is able to stand when he appears? For he is like the fire of a refiner and like the soap of a launderer. Yes, he's destroying almost everyone, isn't he? Because they are all acting treacherously towards the wife of our youth, presenting what is blemished, what is lame, a robber on the slaughter place. And he shall sit as a refiner and a cleanser of silver. And he shall cleanse the sons of Levi, who the covenant is with, right? And refine them as gold and silver. You see how all words are all necessary? There's a reason he didn't say gold at the top up there, above that. But now he does down here. He shall cleanse the sons of Levi and refine them as gold and silver. And they shall belong to Yahuwah, bringing near and offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Yehuda and Jerusalem be pleasant to Yahuwah, as in the days of old, as in former years. When was he pleased? When they were at their home, everything was intact, that which is continual was taking place. And I shall draw near to you for right ruling, and I shall be a swift witness against the practicers of witchcraft and against adulterers. What's witchcraft? Spells, sorcery. Against adulterers. Yeah, if you cheat on your wife or your husband, yeah, he's against that too. But he's against you if you cheat and you act treacherously against the wife of your youth. And against them that swear to falsehood. And against those who oppress the wage earner in his wages. What's the wages? When you come and you guard the covenant, you come on the days you're supposed to Jerusalem. That's your comely home. What do you get? You get life and peace and blessing. That's your wage. And widows and the fatherless, and those who turn away a sojourner and do not fear me, said Yahuwah of hosts. He's a swift witness against anyone of that, right? Anybody that fits that description. If you turn away a sojourner and do not fear me, said Yahuwah of hosts. For I am Yahuwah, I shall not change, and you, O sons of Jacob, shall not come to an end. Who's Jacob? He's the one. He's Yasharal. He's the one who the land, the inheritance, was promised to. From the days of your fathers you have turned aside from my laws and did not guard them. Turn back to me, and I shall turn back to you, said Yahuwah of hosts. But you said, in what shall we turn back? Would a man rob the Most High? Yet you are robbing me. But you said, in what have we robbed you? In the tithe and the offering. The offering. Bringing it to Jerusalem on the days, the feast days, the appointments. The robber. Who was the robber? Barnabas. His name is known as the son of the Father. He was a robber. Who do they call Jesus? They say he's the son of the Father, right? And anyone who's saying, even if you understand perfectly that Jesus means Hail Zeus, and you say Yahusha, if you're saying his name exactly how it's supposed to be spoken, if that's you, but you are breaking the commandment and not guarding the covenant, you're swearing to falsehood. Anyone who says, well, I didn't know that was the wrong place over there. I didn't know that it doesn't matter. There's no excuse. The word, it tells us. That's where I learned it from. The word will tell you what is going on. So if you don't know, it doesn't matter. You're swearing to falsehood. You're acting treacherously against the wife of your youth. You ain't even went to look to see what's going on. And it's in there. You got to read it. Would a man rob the Most High? You are robbing me. But you said, in what way have we robbed you? In the tithe and the offering. He's not talking about putting money in the offering plate. Any place that's got an offering plate, that's robbery, highway robbery. You have cursed me with a curse, for you are robbing me, this nation, all of it. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse. Do you see? And let there be food in my house, unblemished food. And please prove me in this, said Yahuwah of hosts, whether I do not open for you the windows of the heavens and shall pour out for you boundless blessings. Where's the word, the Messiah? He's in the heavens, right? That's where you see him coming down. And that's why he says, lift up your eyes, your redemption draws nigh. He didn't mean look up in the sky. Look onto your thigh where your word is. Look in the word. That's where your deliverance is. And I shall rebuke the devourer for you, so that it does not destroy the fruit of what? Of your ground. Nor does the vine fail to bear fruit for you in the field. In the field, said Yahuwah of hosts. And all nations shall call you blessed, for you shall be a what? A land of delight, said Yahuwah of hosts. For your words have been strong against me, said Yahuwah. But you have said, what have we spoken against you? Does this sound familiar? If you're saying that, and you ain't talking about Jerusalem one bit, and the truth, the image of the beast, all this stuff that's going on to it, the humiliation of it, you haven't lamented, you haven't searched it out to find it, but yet you're bringing these slaughterings, these offerings to him, and this blemished word, this wine mixed with myrrh, and you've traded the word for a robber, for a deity who protests the truth, the way and the life, and yet you're still going to say, what have we spoken against you? You have said, it is worthless to serve the Most High. And what did we gain when we guarded his charge and when we walked as mourners before Yahuwah of hosts? Do you see? You don't think it's that there's anything to gain by getting on the highway and coming to Jerusalem, seeing the Messiah, speaking with renewed tongues. Everything I've been saying to you, that is a renewed tongue. It ain't been spoken for a long time, but now it is. Don't protest. Don't fight it. You have to find it and do it. Pick up your stake. That's why the Messiah said, unless I go to my Father, the Spirit of the truth, what's the truth? The truth is that you have to go to Jerusalem. You have to observe the Passover in Jerusalem. That place over there ain't the place. Even and if you want to say that it is, then you better go there and observe. But it's not. See? It's here. Right where I've been telling you it is. You have to come. Otherwise, everything we've did, it don't matter how good of a person you've been, none of that matters. It's all scratched out. It's nullified. You have to actually serve the Most High. And now we are calling the proud blessed. The proud. Who's the proud? They're those who's saying that they don't have to come and go to Jerusalem. They don't have to, that they're not acting treacherously towards the wife of their youth. But in reality, they are. They're proud. Not only are the doers of wrongness, remember, the border of wrongness, built up, but they also try the Most High and escape. See, that's what everybody's saying. They're saying, well, these people are righteous, they're blessed, and they're not doing it, so why should I have to do it? Do you see? That's just mercy. He's given you grace and mercy. He's telling you to come home, and he ain't just killed you yet because he's given you grace, and he has mercy. But he is a righteous judge. He rules rightly, and there will come a day where you're going to have to pay the Pied Piper. And it's best to just go ahead and pay now. Pay whatever costs now and come. Pick up your stake and come. That's why the Messiah said that when he goes to the Father, then what's the Spirit of the truth? It's that you have to go there. That's being washed in his blood. If he wouldn't have came and said all he said and went and done what he done, and all these things, all these words weren't spoken, we wouldn't know that that's what we have to do. Now that we know that that's what we have to do, when we do it, we're washed in his blood, speaking in renewed tongues, casting those demons who protest out, those deities, those robbers, healing the sick. If you don't believe that you have to come to Jerusalem, if you're looking at the image of the beast thinking that's it, all those things, that's someone who is sick. The Messiah said he didn't come for the righteous, but for the sick, for the lost sheep of the house of Yasharal. What do they use to get the sheep back in line, back with the flock? A reed. What do they measure the dwelling place with? A reed, a measuring rod. What did they stick the sponge with the wine mixed with vinegar on? With a reed. They cursed the truth with the reed because they said that's the place over there when it ain't. That's why the crown of thorns is on his head and the holes in his hands. All those things. They did this to cover this up, to hide the truth. Then shall those who fear Yahuwah speak to one another, and Yahuwah listens and hears, and a book of remembrance be written before him of those who fear Yahuwah and those who think upon his name. Acting treacherously against the wife of your youth, there's no excuse. If you're whatever, it doesn't matter. All that matters is what you're doing. If you're acting treacherously, whether you know it or not, you're still acting treacherously. And there's no excuse because the word is in your hand, on your thigh. You can find the truth. So, and he don't leave us out here high and dry. He's give us this truth to find. There's no excuse. If you're doing it, you're acting treacherously, and you don't fear him. And if you don't fear him, it don't matter. You can think about his name all you want. If you don't fear the Most High, you ain't in the book of remembrance. And they shall be mine, said Yahuwah of hosts, on the day that I prepare a treasured possession. A treasured possession. And I shall spare them as a man spares his own son who serves him. Who serves him. Did he spare Messiah, who asked him 3 times to get out of going to Jerusalem? Yeah, he's sitting at his right hand, but he still had to go to Jerusalem and pay the cost. And you want to be in that treasured possession. You want to be in the book of remembrance, but you ain't willing to go to Jerusalem and pay the cost, and you don't even have to die. You get everlasting life, and you ain't willing to do that. How then do you expect to be a treasured possession. You know what you are? You're the proud. That's what that is. Then you shall again see the difference between the righteous and the wrong. Remember the border of wrongness? Between one who serves the Most High and one who does not serve him. For look, the day shall come, burning like a furnace, and all the proud and every wrongdoer shall be stubble. Stubble. And the day that shall come shall burn them up. Who? Well, he said, are you able to stand when the messenger of the covenant shows up? Are you? You'll be burnt up. And the day that shall come shall burn them up, said Yahuwah of hosts, which leaves to them neither root nor branch. Root nor branch. Word of Messiah coming, he's of Nazareth, right? The root and the branch. But to you who fear my name, the Son of Righteousness shall arise with healing in his wings. Just like I've been telling you, the sun, why it says there's no need of the sun or the moon in Jerusalem. The sun means that it shines light on the truth of your dwelling place and of your covenant. And you go to there. Those who fear him, they'll see this truth. They'll see what the image of the beast is, and they'll come out of Babylon, and they'll go and make that pilgrimage like they're supposed to Jerusalem. They won't act treacherously no more towards the wife of their youth. They will find healing. They will be healed from the Son of Righteousness. And you shall go out and leap for joy like calves from the stall. You shall what? You shall go out and leap for joy like calves of the stall, from the stall. But what's happening? The majority of the world, they're being destroyed like stubble. They're not able to stand in this day at the time of his coming. They're not leaping from the stall with joy like a calf, like a deer. And you shall trample the wrongdoers, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day that I do this, said Yahuwah of hosts. On the day that he does this, that's this day. Remember the Torah of Moses, Moshe, my servant, which I commanded him in Horeb for all Yasharal, laws and right rulings. See, I am sending you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and awesome day of Yahuwah. Just like the guy was saying, send Elijah down. He said that the Messiah, right before, when he breathed his last, right at the ninth hour, like right at the end, he breathed. He was made manifest in this end time, in these days. After Elijah came, what did Elijah do? He fought against the Baal priest. He came, he tore down. If you're someone who thinks upon the Most High's name and you have come out of the holidays and everything, that's what Elijah did. He come to prepare the way and return the hearts of the fathers to the children. Who's the fathers? Moses, those who went before and did this. They actually came. And the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with utter destruction. If your heart, it's good that you came out of Christmas and Easter and all that and that stuff. That's great. But if you're still bewildered and astonished and blinded by that false border of wrongness and the robber who they have given you, they've presented to you, the lies about the Messiah, the word, and you're drinking that wine mixed, you're presenting slaughterings blemished and wrongness on the table. You're acting treacherously against the wife of your youth. If you're still doing all that, it don't matter if you come out of Christmas. You might as well go celebrate it and celebrate all those holidays and call him whatever name you want, because you're still going to be struck with utter destruction. It doesn't matter. Blessed is the man who shall not walk in the counsel of the wrong, not walk in the counsel of the wrong, and shall not stand in the path of sinners, and shall not sit in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the Torah of Yahuwah, and he meditates in his Torah day and night. For he shall be as a tree planted by the rivers of water, the fountain of life, that yields its fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither, and whatever he does prospers. The wrong are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind blows away. Therefore the wrong shall not rise in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For Yahuwah knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wrong comes to naught. He knows the matters of the heart. It's not about him. He doesn't have to search that hard. He can tell what it is, what's in your heart, by how treacherous or not you are. Why do the nations rage and the peoples meditate emptiness? Emptiness. All that slaughtering, it's emptiness. It doesn't matter, like I was just saying. The sovereigns of the earth take their stand, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahuwah and against his Messiah, and say, let us tear apart their bonds. What's their bonds? With their home, the wife of their youth, and throw away their ropes from us. He who is sitting in the heavens laughs. Yahuwah mocks at them. Then he speaks to them in his wrath and troubles them in his rage, saying, but I have set my sovereign on Sion, my set-apart mountain. I inscribe for a law. Yahuwah has said to me, you are my son. Today I have brought you forth. You ain't his son or his daughter if you haven't come forth. Ask of me, and I make the nations your inheritance and the ends of the earth your possession. Break them with a rod of iron. Dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. And now, be wise, O sovereigns. Be instructed, you rulers of the earth. Serve Yahuwah with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the chosen, lest he be enraged and you perish in the way. For soon his wrath is to be kindled. Blessed are all those taking refuge in him. What did Judas do, Yehuda? What did he do for that silver? He came and he kissed him, didn't he? He said, Rabbi, Rabbi. Those people over there, through the Balfour Declaration, the UK, Britain, and all them guys, they kissed the word and they said, yeah, see, this is where he's from. We offer him to you. But who did they offer to us? Barnabas, a robber who gave us lies. It's all one big lie. It's that place of the skull, Castle Gray Skull, the place of death, the border of wrongness. Blessed are all those taking refuge in him, in the Lamb, and what he did, and you have to do it too. But here's the kicker. You might not have to die. You probably won't have to die. You can come to the set-apart land now and stop the treachery. Oh, Yahuwah, how my adversaries have increased, many rising up against me. Many are saying of me, There is no deliverance for him in the Most High, Selah. But you, O Yahuwah, are a shield for me, like that eye of the storm, my esteem, and the one lifting up my head. I cried to Yahuwah with my voice, and he heard me from his set-apart mountain, Selah. I laid down and slept. I awoke, for Yahuwah sustained me. I am not afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me all around. Who slept and awoke? For Yahuwah sustained him? The Messiah, Yahusha, the Word, the way, the life, the truth, the Lamb. I'm not afraid of 10,000s of people who have set themselves against me all around. How many in the world are against the Lamb all around? Who've made a border of wrongness? Who people, they're perishing in the way. Arise, O Yahuwah, save me, O my mighty Most High, because you have stricken all my enemies on the cheek. You have broken the teeth of the wrong. If you do what's right and you follow the Lamb and you follow his word by coming to the set-apart place during Passover, getting inside with the blood on the door, all those things, like I've been telling you, like the word's been telling you, the teeth of the wrong are broken. They have no power over you. Just like in that movie, Arch's teeth fall out. They build an arch in the way, at the head of every street. They build an arch. That's why what those people did, Donald Trump, if you love Donald Trump, him and all them people that were standing there in that picture I showed in the last video by the Arch of Triumph, that was symbolic. That was letting you know that that's the wrong way. What came from the Armistice Day back in 1918, what came from that day was the border of wrongness. They plotted against you, and they've caused many to perish in the way. Deliverance belongs to Yahuwah, though. Your blessing is on your people, Salah, on his people, on his sons. He just said, you'll know you're a son or a daughter if he brought you forth. Answer me when I call, O my mighty Most High of my righteousness. You gave relief to me when I was in distress, under the shadow of death. Show favor to me and hear my prayer. Till when, O you sons of men, would you turn my esteem to shame? There you go. You can esteem him all you want with your mouth. But if you're still acting treacherously against the wife of your youth, whether you know it or not, it's shame. Just like I've been telling you, like the word's been telling you. See, who would you love emptiness? Seek falsehood, Salah? But now that Yahuwah has separated a lovingly committed one for himself, Yahuwah hears when I call to him. You ain't calling to him unless you're calling to him through the word, the lovingly committed one that he separated for himself, the word. You ain't coming. You ain't calling nothing. Tremble and do not sin. Speak within your heart on your bed and be still. Salah. If you're acting treacherously, that's sin. Speak within your heart on your bed. Slaughter slaughterings of righteousness and trust in Yahuwah. Many are saying, who would show us good? Yahuwah, lift up the light of your face upon us. You have put more gladness in my heart than in the season that their grain and wine increased. Absolutely. I lie down in peace altogether and sleep, for you alone, O Yahuwah, make me dwell in safety. Give ear to my words, O Yahuwah. Consider my meditation. Attend to the voice of my cry, my sovereign and my mighty Most High, for unto you I pray. O Yahuwah, in the morning you hear my voice. I present myself to you in the morning and I look up. Your delivery draws nigh in the word. For you are not a mighty one taking delight in wrong, nor does evil dwell with you. There you go. The boasters do not stand before your eyes. You hate all workers of wickedness. You destroy those speaking falsehood. Doesn't matter if you know it or not. If you're speaking it, you're speaking it. And there's no excuse when you have the truth at your fingertips. Yahuwah loathes a man of blood and deceit. But I enter your house in the greatness of your loving commitment. I bow myself toward your set-apart Hakal in your fear. There you go. If you're not bowing yourself to his Hakal, you can tell us you fear him all you want. It's not the case. You don't fear him. He knows. He can tell what it is you're doing by whether or not you bow yourself to his set-apart Hakal. Oh, Yahuwah, lead me in your righteousness because of those watching me. Make your way straight before my face. For there is no stability in their mouth. Their inward part is destruction. Their throat is an open burial site. They flatter with their tongue. An open burial site. The place of the skull. Gray skull. The Messiah said, where the dead body is, there too will be the vultures. Declare them guilty, O my mighty Most High. Let them fall by their own counsels. Thrust them away for their many transgressions, because they have rebelled against you. But let all who take refuge in you rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy, like a calf from the stall, because you shelter them, and let those who love your name, exalt in you. When you're walking with your hand, and what you do with your hands, that's how you exalt the Most High, not with your mouth. You praise him with your mouth when you're praising him with your feet and your hands. You can't have one without the other. Love and marriage, baby. Marriage to the wife of your youth. And let those who love your name exalt in you. For you bless the righteous, O Yahuwah. You surround him with favor as with a shield. Surround him with favor as with the shield. Now, I don't know about you, but you've probably seen all the stuff that's coming, I'm sure. And you know what's coming. Like, that's why they're making all these movies. Have you seen the new movie, the previews for the one called Civil War? Check that one out. All these movies, all the superhero movies, I mean, just tons and tons of stuff of mockery has been going on, and we have been completely oblivious to it. Well, you know, you've probably seen too that there's been lots and lots of like billionaires, millionaires who have been building bunkers. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because an asteroid? I mean, we've all had speculative ideas, right, of why they would do that. Why do you think all these nuke sniffing planes are in the air every day? Go look at Flight Radar 24. It's every day. They're up there flying around. All this stuff's coming. Those guys bought those bunkers because they've been told, they know what's coming, and they think they're going to be able to go underground while the death angel passes over, the scourge, and it destroys everything, and they're going to just pop out of the hole when it's all over and own the earth. Those 500 million, like that was on the Georgia Guidestones. That's what they want to do. They want to reduce the population, right? That's why the Daigle report, I've been showing you all the stuff. The Daigle report shows that in the year of 24, in between the end of 23 and 2025, the world's population, they plan to drop off by like, I think it's like 2/3 or something like that. But there will be no escape. There's only one, and you've seen it in his word. The only escape is in Jerusalem. I can go show you right now. Now, the reason I'm showing you what you're looking at right now is because, you know, I've never really been sure about what the menorah is and Hanukkah. I've just stayed away because it's not in his Torah. He doesn't tell you to celebrate Hanukkah. And I always wondered if the menorah did represent the tree in the garden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but I wasn't for sure because I've seen their own pictures and I could show them to you. If you go to my YouTube, the video I made a long time ago, it's called not the tree of the, or it's called Good and Evil. That's what it's called. If you go to that thumbnail, you'll see there's a picture that they use, and it looks just like the menorah, and it's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But I've never been sure, and I always wondered if that's what that actually represented in it. I'm pretty sure it does. This is an article that I found. It says right here, Asherah, the tree of life. Jewish scholar, so one of their own guys, El Yarden, claims that the menorah developed from the ancient Near Eastern symbolic from the ancient Near Eastern symbolic tree of life that traces back to 2300 to 2500 BCE. If you look at it, some of them have 7 candlesticks or whatever, and some of them have 9. The 9 is the 9, it's related with chakras. If you read this article, it, like right down here, it says that it comes from Asherah, a nurturing mother goddess. Those who teach, I've proven it, that they teach the doctrine of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, they are the ones who present that to you. It's a symbol. It symbolizes knowledge, and it is, you can go anywhere you want. If you dig enough, you'll see that it represents the mother goddess, just like I've been showing you. That's why they say Mother Earth. It's their earth. They're the ones that they've told you that is the Holy Land, and those are the people, that all that stuff. But it's not. Those people are from the waters of Yehuda. They're imposters. Those are the ones who say they are Yehudim, but do lie. They're not Yehudim. They want you to believe that. And what that is, the enemy has done it, but he hasn't done it with the intentions to refine you as gold and silver. The Most High done that. He made that to see who it is really loves him, who isn't going to act treacherously. He's not going to let you give the excuse that, well, we didn't know, when it's in his word. Everywhere you want to look, his word tells you that there's an imposter, the image of the beast, and that the whole world will marvel at it, and that he covered the real set apart place, and that you have to find it. That's the spirit of truth. That's how the spirit of truth is able to come to us, only after the Messiah went to Jerusalem and everything that happened. If he didn't do all those things, if the crown of thorns wasn't put on him, the mixed wine, everything, Barnabas, all that stuff, we wouldn't know what the truth is. That's why the Messiah said, where I go, you shall go too. And he told Thomas, let's go back and look at that real quick. He told Thomas, you know the way. Right here. In my Father's house. Let's just get the whole context again. Let not your heart be troubled. Believe in the mighty Most High. Believe also in me. Who is he? He's the Lamb, the Word, the truth, the way, and the life. In my Father's house are many staying places, and if not, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. This is how he prepared a place for us. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I shall come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, you might be too. And where I go, you know, and the way you know. But Thomas, the doubting twin, he said, Master, we do not know where you are going, and how are we able to know the way? He said, the Messiah said, you know the way. The way is us turning our hearts back to the Father's, going and doing what they did. That's why he says right here, Yahushua said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and the Lamb. No one comes to the Father except through me. You ain't coming to the Father unless you do what you have to do. If you had known me, you would have known my Father too. From now on, you know him and have seen him. That's why Messiah said, after Philip asked him to show him the Father, he said, I've been with you so long, and you have not known me, Philip? He who has seen me has seen the Father. He said, you'll know that you're a son when he brings you forth. Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words that I speak to you, I do not speak from myself, but the Father who stays in me does his works. Believe me that I am in the Father and the Father in me. Otherwise, believe me because of the works themselves. All the works. And I shall ask the Father, and he shall give you another helper to stay with you forever, the Spirit of truth, whom the world is unable to receive because it does not see him or know him. But you know him, for he stays with you and shall be in you. Do you see? I shall not leave you orphans. I am coming to you. Yet a little while, and the world no longer sees me, but you shall see me, because I live, and you shall live. Do you see? In that day you shall know that I am in the Father, and you in me, and I in you. Now do you see how you can know that? That's how you know. Don't act treacherously, my Mishpachah. Don't be led astray. Don't be slaughtered in the way.